So I don't normally do tutorials. That's not something that I really want to focus on, but I did come up with a unique process that I think people might find interesting and might want to use on their own. So by following this tutorial, hopefully you'll be able to make things that look like this. So if you found this cool or interesting at all, I'm going to show you how to do it yourself so you can add your own twist to it. I use Adobe Photoshop, but if you use a different program, I can't promise you'll be able to get the same results. With that being said, let's get to it. All right, so here we are in Photoshop. I already went through the trouble of removing the background from our subject, so it's a complete transparency, so we can put behind him whatever we want. We can do whatever. I figured that would probably be the most boring portion of the video, so I just went ahead and did it early, so we can just get right into the actual fun stuff. So for the first part of it, there isn't really a right way or wrong way to do it. It's really just putting squares and objects in interesting locations, or, removing little bits and pieces from the image. So let's do a little bit of that right now. So I like to use squares for this. You could try it with circles or some other shapes, organic, Try something else, experiment, see what happens, but I'm just gonna do what I normally do. For some of these, I also like to change the blend mode to multiply, so it shows a little bit of transparency, and that can sometimes lead to some interesting textures and results later on in the process. All right, so now that I've got some squares kind of laid out, kind of how I want, or at least roughly, what I'm gonna do is I'm going to merge all of these effects to a layer, just to a smart object, and that way I can create new selections using just this one layer, and it'll still have all the effects that I had previously applied to just the one. So for instance, if I wanted to cut out the eye and make that a separate layer, I can hit Control J, and now it's on its own separate layer, and I can move that around how I want. So I'm just gonna do that with a couple spots, and we'll see how that turns out. Alrighty, so I think that's all the cutting up that I'm gonna do, at least for right now. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna add a couple more squares that I'm gonna place around or behind him, and I'm gonna add some text onto it or some pieces of paper just to give it some texture and something that's interesting. I found that just kind of has a really cool result. That's something I like doing, but you could experiment and try putting on different textures or different elements just to see kind of what the results are. Alrighty, so I think we're ready to get to the fun part of this. So what you want to do is hit Control-Alt-Shift-E, and that will merge everything below into one layer at the top. Or, you could save this as a JPEG and then bring it back in, whatever is easiest for you. I'm gonna convert this to a smart object. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna take big chunks. I'm not gonna think too heavily on what I'm grabbing, what I'm not, and I'm gonna create some duplicates. So you can see here, now I have a second layer of that. I found that it's usually better whenever you take larger portions or larger duplicates. If you do, if you're grabbing pieces that are too small, usually it just gets too messy. So I found that at this part of the process, it's usually better to do bigger chunks and smaller ones. Alrighty, we'll convert all of those to smart objects because we'll be applying effects, and we'll want to make sure that we can go back and edit them just in case. So now you want to make sure your foreground color is the color of your choice. I found that it looks better whenever it's the same color that you've been using for like the shapes and stuff. You could test out and see what it looks like if you were to change up the colors, see if that has a different effect. But I'm going to stick with that. And then the background the background color can either be white or black. Play around and see what happens. But we're going to go up to filter gallery. All right, so I don't know if you can see this, but I do have my filter gallery open. I believe the last few times that I've done this, I have used crayon effect, possibly the charcoal. You could mess around and see which ones work. You could even try the stamp or the photocopy, torn edges. I think those would probably be good ones to use. But what's really nice about the is that it has grays, so that's going to cause some interesting parts because some of it will disappear later on and some of it will stay, and that's kind of where you get some interesting effects. So just play around with the foreground and background levels till you get something that just feels right. So you can see now that it's applied. So I'm going to go ahead and apply that to the other portions as well. So now you can see where I have made those edits. So now what we're going to do is we're going to change the blend modes. You can easily play around with these for a while to see what kind of effects you get. Like, I wasn't really expecting to use divide, but that has an interesting effect, especially like on this square up here. Adds a nice blue, which is different. So, hey, maybe that's something that you want to try out. I think I've used linear light before, which has a pretty cool effect. And you can just move them around just to kind of see what happens. Really, this is not a process this is a very experimental, just kind of try what works, see what happens kind of thing. I really don't have a scientific explanation for exactly how to make it look as cool as it did or get the exact look that you're looking for. So I'm just kind of going over just some of the things that I've done in the past and, just seeing what happens. Because really this is just an experiment for me as much as it is for you. Because honestly, I haven't used divide in the past, but I really like how it's adding some extra noise, some extra color, some extra texture in certain places. And we could, like I'm doing now, mess around with where it's laying to get even more kind of chaotic and crazy and just kind of see what happens. And you could even, go so far as to use exclusion and difference and really just make a lot, a big mess, but it's gonna lead to some interesting things. Yeah, what I'm going to try to do now, because I do like this, but I do want to see what would happen if I switch the foreground and background color. Sometimes that can have some interesting effects. So I'm going to do that and we'll see what happens. All right, so this is pretty cool. I kind of like where this is at. So I'm gonna merge everything back into one layer, and then I'm gonna try the process again. I'm gonna see what comes out. So I'm pretty happy with how this is turning out. The last thing to do, which is optional, is to add some textures on top. And that's pretty much it. Sometimes the textures do a lot, sometimes they don't. I think in this case, it really helped. You know, those are optional. You don't necessarily have to do it if you don't want to, or if you feel like it's done and it doesn't need any textures. Completely fine. Hopefully you found this tutorial helpful or insightful in any way. If you do end up using this tutorial to make something of your own, I'd love to see what you come up with. Honestly, I love just seeing how people can take different ideas and then twist it and make something completely new with it. So I'd love to see what you guys can come up with. Other than that, I'm glad we got this chance to hang out, and I'll see you in the next video.